Hey everyone, today we're going to untangle two terms you hear thrown around all the time in the world of AI, automation and agents. Now, they might sound kind of similar, but trust me, one is basically a simple rule follower and the other, well, the other is a genuine thinker. Let's dive in and really break down the difference.
So, let's start with a bit of a riddle. What on earth could a simple watchman standing at a gate have in common with a super smart assistant like the one on your phone? It sounds strange, right? But the answer to this is actually the key to unlocking the huge difference between these two types of AI. Let's start with that watchman.
Okay, first up, we have AI automation. And for our story today, think of this as a reliable but, very rigid watchman. This is really the foundation, the starting point for making any process a little bit smarter.
So at its heart, AI automation is just software that does simple, repetitive stuff. And the most important part of that sentence is this: based on a strict set of predefined rules. It's just like our watchman, right? His rules are super simple and they never ever change. If a car shows up, open the gate. Once the car passes, close the gate. That's it. There's zero thinking involved, just following instructions to the letter. And these characteristics, they really define our watchman perfectly. Automation is always predictable. You know the gate is going to open. It follows commands exactly. No creativity, no detours. It doesn't learn, and it sure doesn't adapt. Our watchman isn't going to wake up tomorrow and invent a brand new, more efficient way to open that gate. And maybe most importantly, this type of AI kind of lacks a brain. It's a system built purely for doing, not for thinking. And you see this stuff everywhere in your daily life. You fill out a form on a website, and bam, you instantly get an email. That's automation. The rule is simple: if the form is filled out, then send this specific email. Or when you schedule a social media post for tomorrow, the rule is just, at this exact date and time, publish this post. Even your smart speaker turning on the lights at sunset is just following a preset rule. These are all our little digital watchmen doing simple tasks perfectly every single time.
So, that's our rule follower. Pretty straightforward. But now, let's meet our second character, the thinker, the AI agent. And this is not a watchman. This is more like what our source material calls a smart human being, or your own personal assistant. It's a whole different ballgame.
An AI agent is a completely different beast. It literally has the ability to think, to make smart decisions, to learn from new things, and to act on its own. So while automation gets a really strict rule book, an agent gets a goal and the freedom to figure out the best way to get there. It's not just following orders, it's actively solving problems.
This gives us a little peek inside the mind of an agent. They're all about smart decision-making. They use adaptive learning, which means they actually get better and smarter over time with new information. They're super interactive, and here's the big one: they're autonomous. They don't need us constantly looking over their shoulder. Some can even fix their own little problems to keep running all by themselves.
So where do we see these thinkers in the wild? Well, when you ask your phone's assistant to schedule a meeting, it's not just following one simple rule. It has to understand what you said, check your calendar, find an open time that works, and then actually create the event. It has the authority to do things for you. And think about a self-driving car. It's not just following a line on a map, it's constantly making thousands of decisions based on traffic, road signs, and other cars. That is thinking in action.
Okay, so we've met our two characters, the rule-following watchman and the thinking smart assistant. Now let's put them side by side. It's time for the showdown, where we can make these differences totally crystal clear.
This table really says it all, doesn't it? Let's go down the list. Thinking, for our watchman, that's a hard no. It's all rules, no brain. But for the smart assistant, absolutely, that's its whole purpose. How about learning? Again, no for automation. It does the same thing forever. But the agent, it learns and gets better from every single thing it does. And finally, autonomy. The watchman needs you to set it up and tell it what to do. The smart assistant can operate and, like we said, even fix itself all on its own.
All right, so who cares? Why does this all matter? It's not just about getting the words right. Understanding this difference is actually super important because it helps you figure out what kind of tool you actually need. Do you need a simple tool to just follow a command, or do you need a sophisticated partner to actually solve a problem for you?
So here it is, the bottom line. If you're going to remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this simple sentence. Automation does things. Agents think about things. One is basically a digital worker, while the other is a digital mind. Let's use one last perfect real-world example. Picture this. You go online and you buy a shirt. The system that automatically sends you the invoice email right after, that's automation. It's a simple, rule-based task.
But the system that notices you're browsing for shirts and then suggests a pair of pants that might look great with it based on your style, that's an agent. It's thinking, it's analyzing, and it's making a smart recommendation. And this shows how they often work together. Automation handles the simple stuff, while agents bring the smarts.
You know, the source material we've been looking at today just sums this all up beautifully with this one quote. AI automation really is like that predictable watchman at the gate. But an AI agent, that's much closer to being a smart human being. It's capable of thought, of learning, and of acting on its own.
And that, of course, leaves us with a really fascinating question for the future. We started this journey by building simple rule followers, but now we're building genuine thinkers. And as these AI agents get smarter and smarter, more like that smart human being, the real question becomes, what decisions, both big and small, are we going to be comfortable letting them make for us? That's definitely something we'll all be thinking about. Thanks so much for joining me.